What up? Happy New Year. Welcome back to the pod. I was just trying to get a snack. We New Year, new things, and here we are. Yeah, y'all are just checking in with y'all two favorite people from 2025. It is yours truly, everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Don Don. I am joined by my neglected brother on the other side, Paul, aka.
Mr. Qualified, how y'all doing? Miss y'all. Happy New Year. That is crazy. And I don't know how he keeps coming up for different reasons on the pod, but that was definitely a moment. Definitely an interesting kickoff to 2026. I know we create new words all the time in our community, but yeah, that's a new one for sure.
They say the goal of communication is to understand, not always to be accurate, but
Mhm.
we understood what he was saying. Um, he shouldn't have said it. We all have to know the words that exist. I think that is why they exist. But you know
Indeed.
what? Hey, we all gonna have a little flub somewhere.
Somewhere we all don't get it right, all the time. So it's okay. But yeah, that was interesting. But brother, good brother, it is 2026. We are in a new year, second half of this decade. We are a quarter through the 21st century. This is crazy. How's this new year been treating you so far, good brother?
Hold on, I just excuse my French. All them fractions you just gave just fucked me up. I didn't wake up to do math today in that regard. So we quarter of a century and
Mm-hmm.
third through and the second half. It's 2026. We
Six.
are here. We have carried the one apparently. All right, and it's been a start. It's been a start. But I want to hear about your start because we
Yeah.
had somebody on the pod celebrate a birthday that we never discussed. So now that we are in a new year and you are in a new year of life, how's your last few weeks been?
Uh it's been it's been fun. It's been a little weird in a good way. And just very, very interesting. Very I don't know, like kind of humbling. Like, but in this kind of weird way of there not being a huge difference in like feeling 30 versus 29. Like innately, there's no like huge difference. But I think things just start to show up very differently. As opposed to this idea that turning 30 is gonna bring all of this change kind of in one full swoop. It's kind of the idea of like more so layers starting to peel back on their own as you turn 30. It's like, yeah, time to work through this face to face, big dog. It's here now. So that's kind of been where I feel like, yeah, the last couple of weeks, last little even, yeah, like 3 to 4 weeks has kind of been, but it's been good. It's been fun. The birthday was fun in general. And yeah, it's been a start to the year as well. But we keep chucking along and moving along. So, we're gonna figure it out.
Well, I did tell you happy birthday, but let me officially welcome you on the pod to the other side. Now you're in the 30s club, which is
Indeed.
it's like you say you pull back the layers, right? It's kind of the second evolution of a Pokemon. Like we
Mm,
we got a few more hit points, we maybe got a new little power, something. It's an evolution.
yeah,
Yeah, welcome to the other side.
appreciate it. Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Everything
Yeah.
will start to hurt soon, but enjoy it right now.
No, it already has. I'm already there. I'm already trying to work through it. Keep the little bit of youth that I can. But it's there.
Yeah, I was scrolling this morning and I saw a video and a guy was asking this woman a question. He was like, "Ma'am, where are you at in life?" And I don't know what answer he was expecting, but she paused and she was like, "I'm at my limits."
Hey, yo,
Oh,
it's a real thing.
that's the energy that 30 will bring. So yeah.
Oh, it's a real thing. Yeah, I feel like every day there's a challenge, or at least I try to accept a challenge every day, but also without the expectation of mastering said challenge every day. So I think one of the biggest things I've noticed even in these like couple of weeks has been my hyper awareness has stopped kind of leading to anxiety, and it feels more like gentle reminders of like no, you cool, dog. Like, it's going, but like you gotta face this. Like you can't get anxious about it every single time because it's okay. You just kind of figuring out what this challenge will require and then ultimately how you're gonna do it. But none of it's meant to be done in a day's work. So I think that's kind of been a turning point. So just using that as a reminder and the anxiety coming down, I think is a major step. So we doing something right to start 30 off. At least I'd like to think so.
Okay. I support and applaud it. So it's gonna be a lot more of that. I mean, I'm not the expert on the 30s, right? But it's gonna be a lot more of that because you get like this calm energy, and you
Yeah.
can, I mean, I'm still anxious as hell, but like you have a groundedness, I think, in your 30s that I didn't experience before. So, welcome to this side. But you have mentioned challenges and how you face them. Um, have you done those alone, or do you feel like that's now the shift that you about to experience to say like, okay, challenges coming now. I know I got a circle, I got people or a mentor or somebody to lean on. Or are you just saying like, I'm 20, I can do it by myself?
No, it's definitely a mix of both. I think there are some things that are or that I believe are meant for me to handle on my own. Cause I don't even like to look at it as like carry. Cause like me having to handle something on my own doesn't mean I'm always carrying it on my own. But some things are meant more so for me to do the work versus leaning on others. At least I'd like to think I have the ability to do that, without having to lean on others in some situations. So it's kind of been a little bit of both, but both are still relatively new experiences. So like, it being in the groundedness and the calmness and being able to approach something I know I need to do, especially if it's like just for me or just impacts me, is still like a learning curve. But definitely leaning into others and kind of allowing my support system to be my support system um, is a new experience as well, and that's hard. And I had something happen this past week that kind of is an example of that. I had called a friend with an idea, like it was an idea for Qualified, and it happened to be another one of our friends on the phone, so it ended up being this kind of like large, like mini conference call, let's call it that. And so I threw an idea out there for the series that I was thinking about doing, and I finally came up with a name I thought was decent enough to either roll with or maybe get the ball rolling on finding the name. So I share that name. The name ends up being trash. And like I felt it afterwards. Like when they said it, I was like, yeah, I could get how it's kind of just like a little bleh. Don't got no oomph to it. But not only did that deep dive into a conversation where we eventually landed on a name that's actually pretty fire in my opinion, it also led to some soft critiques, as I'll call them, about just like the vision and the structure of Qualified moving forward. And it wasn't that that was meant to be the specific conversation, but that's what I took away from it. But I walked away from it realizing that it was taking me a while to kind of like process it. And somebody like me, I'm very self-aware of how I process. So I was noticing, I'm like, why is it kind of like I'm not stuck, but why does it feel like I'm kind of like this is lingering a little more than it should or than I wanted to? And I realized it was a new level of vulnerability for me because I don't talk to or kind of open up about qualified and ideas to a lot of people for a few different reasons. We can get into that later, but this was me kind of trying that and doing that subconsciously and realizing that even if they were soft critiques, the fact that they were willing to share and even ask some of those questions meant that if nothing else, they know it's important to me. So they wanted to get a sense of like what I was trying to do or what I wanted to do. And even if that doesn't translate to immediate like, oh well, this is how I can help or this is what I'll be able to do, there's still like the opportunity for that. And I think it was a moment of me understanding that's what that can look like. Cause it was something I was very scared to like try and allow to happen before. So yeah, that leaning in and allowing your support system to actually support you is it's a doozy, but we're gonna try it a few times in 2026.
I'm here for it. And yeah, you keep qualified close to the chest. Cause even back before you had fired me from qualified and you was asking me questions, you would not like my soft critiques either. I could tell you'd be like, yeah, 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 I appreciate that. I'm like, he hates it. He's not listening to that. But yeah.
Yeah, no.
Now look, we on the
It's
pod together.
no, I'm a clear the air every time this comes up.
Yeah.
I did not fight. Donald from Qualified. The man had a life changing event that happened, and he got stuck out of the state for a long period of time. And we just never discussed the details of him returning. That's really all that happened. But he felt the way about it, and I'm trying to be respectful of that. I just don't like the false claims of me leaving him high and dry, like I pushed him to the SAG strikes or something. Like this is it's a bit much. It's a bit much.
I went on sabbatical because of that said life-changing event, and I thought that would be temporary. I didn't know that I would be stuck out of the state for what was that, like 3 months? So
It was a while. It was at least two.
it
It was
was, yeah,
two.
it was a minute. So yeah, that sabbatical turned into, yeah, don't even worry about it. When I got back to be like, oh yeah, we're about to film qualified, he was like, oh no, I got somebody on camera. I was like, oh, okay, rats.
But yeah, it was definitely a bigger purpose. Darn, darn. This is how it comes full circle.
You cut out.
Oh Lord. I was like, here we are. This is how we come full circle in
Okay.
this moment. Now we here doing this pod, full circle moment. Round of applause for it. Round of applause. But yes, what about you, good brother? What's been going on with you into this new year? How are you feeling the first couple of weeks into 2026?
Um, it's cool. I mean, yay. I mean, I'm all right. I can't complain. I've had, thankfully, minor yet very annoying adult things come up that you like, oh wow, I have to handle this. But other than that, I mean, I guess 2020 is cool. I wrote my goals down. I feel like I have a plan for 2026. I know what I want to accomplish. And I set some goals for the end of Q1. So I got, 2 months that I want to pay off a little debt. But I mean, it's cool. I mean, hey, the world is on fire still, but I have not yet been scorched. So I'm blessed.
No, that's real. Do you feel like your New Year's always start off slow?
I don't even ever remember how my New Year start off, if I'm
Fair.
being honest. With the exception of two. One of them was I was in the hospital, shocker, leading into Alpha, unrelated.
Mm.
So I knew that at the top of the year. And then the other one, also hospital end of the year, shocker, going into leaving my job and starting a new one all at the same time, like accepted the offer in the hospital bed. So I know how two of my January started. Past that, I just press play. I'm just here.
No, that's real. Ooh, press play is good, and I also kind of like that as an episode title. We gonna keep that in the tuck. Um, but it was funny when I asked you that, and as you was answering, I also found it hilarious how like you will religiously always find a way to say that like you don't remember much. It's so funny because I feel like people have to really know you to realize just how serious you are. Like you might be able to be reminded of it, but you on your own will not think of some of the things that have happened. But I started thinking about the beginning of the year and why, because initially I thought just the last like 2 or 3 years, it always felt like, my beginning of the year was very slow or there was something that happened that didn't allow me to get a good jump on things. But then I kind of thought further back, and I think it's because you mentioned the semester before Alpha for you. And that kind of took me back to my semester before Alpha because I turned 21 kind of like that winter. So another milestone birthday into that. But then also every other like transition into the new year thereafter, like 2016 to 2017, uh, something borderline traumatic happened. And not like deeply traumatic, but more so like from my personal like story and journey and like certain dynamics, like something always happened in that time frame. Could be potentially because my birthday is in that time frame. Could also be because naturally that makes me super reflective in that time frame. But also there were some actual events that just were like not the greatest memories or don't bring up the greatest feelings. And I was like, damn, is the beginning of my new year like cursed? Like in general? Have I been caught in this loop or this cycle of like bad starts to New Year's and not even realizing it? Hell of an epiphany to have in real time. Kind of scary.
Mhm.
Real nervous.
But you know what? That I feel like because it happens in January or February, whatever it is at the top of the year for you, it feels like, oh, this is supposed to be a new year, so it's supposed to start off great. And it's like, well, let me test this person with some things and see like how resilient are they? What can they handle? Is that coming from the universe, God, whoever you believe is up there? But the flip side is when it happens in November, you be like, oh, let this be the last thing to happen for the year so I could just start over new. Why do we think that January is just dipping us in rice? Like the same problems continue. I just don't understand that.
That's a great point. I think a lot of us are optimistic. I think a lot of us look for general transitions to help use or guide us into pivots or life changes because it's easier to say like, ooh, if I started at this time and planned it ahead of time, I'm more likely to execute, which in theory, yes, it sounds like a great idea. It's just not realistic. And I think sometimes we get caught up in the theory that like it's supposed to happen this way because we prepared and because we planned for it. And then when things happen to throw it off, we like, well, why can't it ever go our way? Which I don't know. I guess that's just part of a life thing, too, in terms of being able to really realize that and learn how to respond. So, like, not maybe on the same level of the success and failure thing we were talking about last episode, but just this idea of, yeah, some things are, and some things will just be, and some things have nothing to do with us whatsoever. So, just being able to kind of approach, respond, and react accordingly to that. Definitely an art form. Definitely not something that people just inherit. So yeah, I don't know why we think that. I don't know. I don't know why we're so optimistic in that regard.
First of all, who is we?
I try to speak in uplifting terms of everybody.
Okay, yeah, not to be Debbie Downer, thing, but optimism is not at the top of my vocabulary list. I like to be
Fair.
optimistic. I have a tattoo about hope, but I'm a realist at the end of the day, and that might
Yeah.
take some fun out of life. Who knows? But I'm all for being goal oriented. I think we should set goals if you want to set them for the new year, your birthday, if it's Wednesday. Like you don't have to wait till the start of something to set your goals. But it's 12 months in a year. We don't press restart when we get to December 31st. It just is a new year continuing in the same thing. So that I've started to think like I'm not really washing away any problems. I'm just adding to them and learning how to navigate it, which sucks. But that's how numbers work. We not just restart. So I'm off of the New Year's resolutions and I'm off of what you say, like, oh yeah. But when we are tested at the beginning of the year, we're like, oh, it's supposed to be new. It's not. It's the same problem on a different day.
No, that's a great point because I've never been a huge like New Year's resolutions fan. Like I'm all for you wanting to change things
For
in the
sure.
new year. Like I'm all for you wanting to be better, you want to be more intentional about stuff, take stuff more seriously, let stuff go, whatever. But the idea of doing it under the New Year's resolution when it's more important to kind of say it's a New Year's resolution versus just the action of doing the thing, being more intentional about it, being better about it, whatever. Yeah, like I'm not a fan of that. So I definitely I definitely understand, but I think that's also why I've been able to have a really good perspective on how the year has went for me. Because even if it's like something like the gym, like oh, I wasn't able to, get as acclimated to or get into the routine with the gym that I wanted to start the year, because oh, okay, new year, I'm gonna try to get in there, and get a routine. And it didn't happen, like didn't come close to happening. But it's kind of a reminder of myself, like you said, like you can really start whenever. And it's like, it's okay. If you needed 2 weeks to just rest, and that was a way of like your body telling you, like, nah, like we not finna force this. You gonna rest a little bit. You gonna get prepared to, be consistent. So yeah, just changing approach and accepting different perspective has helped as well. But it's funny that we like are in 2026 talking about this new year, and people have decided to turn back the clock, and everybody is reliving 2016 to start off 2026. How do you feel about this phenomenon? And like, was 2016 that year for you as well? Is it the year that everybody says it was for them? Does that apply to you?
Absolutely. What? I was a fresh 25 going into 2026. Um, yeah, that was grad school, that was alpha, that was peak Don. Like that, well, I won't say peak, but that was definitely up there. Like that whole era of 2026 was great. So because of the phenomenon, I was curious. I'm like, let me go back and see what I look like in 2026. First of all, completely different person.
Very much so.
This is before the hair, right? I mean, I look the same, but like I don't look the same. Um, and yeah, and I didn't realize how much of a neo I was. I scrolled through a year's worth of pictures and it's all black and gold or this. And I'm just like, wow, were we obnoxious? But
Yes.
2016, we had a time last night, let me tell you.
No, well, one, first and foremost, you're allowed to be obnoxious in your Neo year. You absolutely are. So that's okay. You're allowed that year pass. Um, but yeah, I think because I know for a lot of people, 2016 was like in certain circles, it was a good year for music. But then also I think about like sports circles, it was also like a really interesting year for sports as well. Like in the NBA, there was the Cavaliers comeback and like stuff like that. So there was just a lot like historically that seemed to happen in 2016 and has aged relatively well, 10 years down the line. But yeah, the world was just very different. But I think for us and our generation, anybody is who is in that late 20s to like early to mid 30s range, like I don't know, I think that was probably the best time to be in that age range, whether you want to break that down to college, whether you just want to talk about being like 18 to 25. Like I don't know, I think the generations are going to argue this, but I feel like the peak experience of that 18 to 25 range, like 2016 was in the midst of that. So I definitely get the nostalgia. I definitely get why the masses seem to have the same consensus feeling about the year. It was a time to be alive for sure.
It was. It
It
was.
was
What a time, actually.
indeed, indeed. I think that album dropped the year before. But yeah, so that should be interesting. I wonder how long that trend will last. Maybe January at most. It'll be something else going around.
I hope it's
But
just like for like a month and a half. By Valentine's Day, we don't need to see what happened in 2016. Like,
that's very real. Last but not least, this was something I was thinking about this week. I'm not really sure what triggered this, but yeah, it was just kind of something that was on my mind. How do you feel knowing that you are a mentor and considered a really good, even great mentor by many?
um, immediately flattered, situationally surprised, um, and kind of distant from it because I feel like I was reminded of that before, but now I feel like I think the fruits of my labor and the connections I have still speak to it, but I don't think of it that way anymore. But also shocking because it's like you look to me for guidance. I need to be guided sometimes. I'm not gonna knock myself. Like I have experience in things, which is where that comes from. But then I'm like the things that I could look to somebody else for, I haven't identified those people yet. So it's always surprising that somebody has identified me as their person. But I appreciate it. I rock with it. Like I'm here to help.
No, That's real. But and you said that like over time. So I feel like it's always intriguing to me that you have that relationship with mentorship or being somebody that someone looks to like for guidance or assistance or help. I think that I've always kind of been told or reminded that even if I don't know it, I might be serving as a mentor to somebody. But I think that there's a part of me wanting to mentor and like pass things along, but not feeling like that's wanted by like those around me that would fit the bill of like maybe somebody who would be looking, to me to be a mentor, and I don't like feeling like I'm forcing it, but I also don't like feeling like I'm like withholding information just because somebody didn't necessarily seek it. But that might just be more about how I kind of see dynamics and how I see relationships, like in trying to navigate that. But um yeah, like I think me not having like if you ask me if I had a mentee, I don't know if I could tell you I could. And I think there's a part of me that like wishes I had one or just wishes I had that type of relationship. Like it's not attached to the idea of it needing to be somebody that looks to me or needs me or anything. But I think it's a relationship I would have a lot of pride in if I knew that or if I felt like I was providing that to somebody, just because I know that those relationships of like with my mentors have really shaped my journey. And I guess that's the way I kind of want to, give it back to somebody as well. But also trying not to be attached to that also. But mentorship is just a strong thing in general. But I'm sure my opportunity will come at some point. I feel like it's kind of destined for me to be in some type of situation or environment for that to happen. So I guess we'll see.
And you probably already are in that. So I feel like you looking at people saying, I I feel what I could offer you is mentorship. I mean, maybe not that formally, right? But like you have identified people that say like, oh, I have something to pour into this person, right? The people that probably have identified you as a mentor have not voiced that to you. So where you think you don't have that connection with somebody, it's for the other person to find it in you, not for you to tap that person, right? Like I didn't go and be like, hey, you, let's go. We gonna help you get your shit together, right? It just developed over time, and then you was just like, I look at you as a mentor. And that was light bulb to me because it never occurred to me. I just thought we had like a real tight relationship, but not in the sense of mentor, in some regard. So maybe those people have already identified you and they already in your circle. You just don't realize it because you're looking at somebody to tap and they've already said, got him.
No, that's very valid. I always hope that doesn't come off wrong or weird to people. I always hope that like if people hear that or if people are listening to this conversation that they don't see it as that being something that's like self-serving to me. I always worry and feel like that's what it sounds like because it's a dynamic or because it's a relationship that I like want to have and even in some ways feels like uh it in some ways it kind of feels necessary for me to feel like I'm doing the thing, like I'm giving back or whatever the case may be. Man, at the end of the day, it ain't really for other people, but I am kind of just super aware of hoping that it doesn't come off the wrong way to people or give off the wrong impression. But yeah, whatever. I digress. It ain't really for them to get.
Hmm.
Just a thought. But yeah, but no, it's a really good check in. Yeah, I feel like this was a really good start. If nothing else to the year. Let's just say my year started here, and we'll call it a day.
Okay, you press and play. We will allow
Yes.
this to be the restart. We can restart for the
Yeah.
first time ever in 2026. Nothing else has existed. We will press restart. We're ready to press play and come what may.
No, I mean, I'm just coming back off a pause. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I paused to start to eat. I think I just pressed pause. I was like, you know what? I got to get something to eat. I'm gonna just pause the movie here for a second. Use the bathroom. So I'm gonna come back. I'm just gonna press play now. Now I'm ready to go and resume. So that's that. But yeah, any last parting words or takeaways for our checkout, good sir?
If you identify as an adult, accept all problems in the moment and let a solution come tomorrow.
Honestly, I'll second that. I don't think there's any better way that I can put it. That's the gag. That's the key. That's T. Whatever you want to call it. It'll be there tomorrow. You got time to figure it out. It's okay. This too shall pass. So we gonna be all right. But yeah. Until then, until the next time we check in with y'all, we'll catch y'all on the next episode, man.
Peace.